In this video, I will show you 3 simple steps to transfer your GA4 data to BigQuery. This video is taken from the recording of my live session. And if you are interested in watching the entire live session, then check the description of this video. Now let's dive into the 3 steps that you need to start transferring your GA4 data to BigQuery. What you need is Google Analytics 4 property, BigQuery project, free or paid. I would recommend paid. I think they still offer a free without a credit card, but you should always put a credit card. Using a credit card gives you more options because your data will be stored for a longer period of time, as well as you will get streaming option, which we'll see in a few minutes. And then you need BigQuery API services, which is also free. So I will go and walk you through these steps. Go to your admin panel in GA4, and in the admin panel, scroll down and you'll see a BigQuery link. Click on BigQuery, and this is where you can link your BigQuery project. However, before you do that, you need to make sure you go to Google Cloud Console and create an account. So creating an account, I'm not going to go through that process, but once you land here, cloud.google.com/BigQuery, it'll prompt you through those steps. So go ahead and pick the credit card option, put your credit card in, and you'll have a project running. Project is the one that contains all the information about what data sets you are going to be using and how that data set is going to be created. GA4 is one of those data sets that I'll show you. You can store up to 10 gigabyte of data every month and run 1 terabyte of queries every month for free. After you set up your account, you will be taken to BigQuery console. BigQuery console, in simple terms, is the interface for BigQuery. Here you'll see all your projects, and underneath the projects, you'll see data sets, and underneath your data sets are all the tables. But before you can see all your data in BigQuery, we need to finish setting it up. So next step of setting it up is enabling the BigQuery APIs. So click on the hamburger menu and go to API and services and click on library. Now go ahead and find BigQuery APIs. So type in BigQuery and pick BigQuery API and click on it and make sure to enable it. For me, it's already enabled, so I can't do that again. But if you haven't set it up, then you'll see an enable button. That's all you have to do. So those are the 3 steps you need to take. You build your project in Google Cloud, sign up for that, get your GA4 ready, and then you have APIs ready. Once that's done, you are now ready to send the data. So go back to Google Analytics and then click on link and then choose a BigQuery project, test project, and then click on confirm. Now it picks that project. It also picks the data location. Data location is based on the project that you have built. It's not an issue for when you are in US. However, in Europe, you need to make sure it's the data location is Europe. Otherwise, you can run into GDPR issues. Google takes care of that, but make sure you're putting your data in the right data location. For me, it's US. And then click on next. And in the next field, here you have an option to choose what you want to send to BigQuery. So we created BigQuery project, we've created GA4, we have linked them together. Now we are picking up the data that we want to send from GA4 to BigQuery. So here are a few options. You have a daily export. That means at the end of the day, GA4 is going to send all the event data over to BigQuery at the end of the day. So you can select that. Streaming is only enabled if you have enabled credit card in your BigQuery project. If not, then this option won't be available. This is the option that I like for debugging. And it also gives you real-time reports. You know how GA4 has a delay in when it gets the data? Streaming gets the data immediately. Within seconds or microseconds, the event arrives. So I go to the site, I can go into the streaming part of the table in BigQuery, and I can see the data immediately. So great for debugging. So you don't have to wait for a few hours. You don't have to wait for a day to fix your tracking issues. You can see if everything is working or not and make the changes immediately. So that's why I highly recommend that you use a credit card and enable streaming. Then you have export for user. So this is where you can send the daily user data as well. So every day, that user data will be exported. There are two tables that get created there, and I'll show you those two tables in a minute. One is for anonymous users and one is for known users if you are using user ID tracking. Then you click on next, and that's it. It's just asking you to review. And then once you're done, you go ahead and submit it. Now the link is created, the data will start to flow into BigQuery. When you first create it, it takes some time. So it's not immediately available. But once the connection has been made, when the data has been pushed, your streaming will show you real-time data coming in. But the first set of data might take another 24 hours or few hours. All right. Once your data starts to flow into BigQuery, then you can go to the console and go to BigQuery. So you'll be in your project. You can change the project if you have access to multiple projects, like I do here. And then you expand your project and you can see your data set right here. Each of the data set that starts with analytics and ends with a bunch of numbers represents a separate GA4 property. In my project, I'm sending the data from various GA4 properties. And when you are starting out, you will just see one data set. Now you must be wondering, what is this number that follows analytics? This number is your GA4 property ID. So let me go to GA4 and show you where this number is coming from. So if I go here, this number right here is the number that's shown at the very end. So this is how I know which property it belongs to. So right here is 775, which is my Optizen test account. When you expand this, actually, this is not the right example to show you because I've customized it. All right, let me start with this one, and then I'll walk you back there. So you'll generally see four tables here. You're seeing only three. One is an events table. This is a daily table that gets created at the end of the day. Then you have events intraday. This is created when you have the streaming option available. Remember that streaming option right here? When I clicked on this, daily and streaming. And the third table is the user table that gets created by this option. So these three tables get created. However, user can be anonymous users and known users. So if you do known user tracking in your account, then you will also see a fourth table here that is called user table, which looks like this. So here I have event intraday, pseudo user, and user table. So that's it. These are the three simple steps you need to transfer your GA4 data to BigQuery. If you are interested in watching the entire recording of the live session, then check the description of this video. If you need help with GA4 or BigQuery, email us at support@optizen.com.